Guys, I got the call. You know the one where a friend that you haven't spoken to in around 10 years just gets in touch and says, hey, let's go for a coffee. Or more recently, have a Zoom call. And then they show you this amazing presentation and they tell you, hey, do you want to join me on this once in a lifetime opportunity that's very time limited, so you have to sign up now, but you can make 6 figures while working only 3 hours a week just from home. Easy money, you should absolutely join me. So if you got one of these calls or you're considering joining a multi-level marketing scheme, then watch on. Hey there and welcome back to my channel. My name's Eva and I'm a career coach on a mission to help people build meaningful careers. So why am I talking about multi-level marketing schemes today? Well, I should start off by saying I am passionate about helping people to earn more money and become financially independent and pursue their passions with a side hustle. In fact, if you're looking for side hustles which you can do from home, I've actually made another video on those, so just check it out. But here's why I think multi-level marketing schemes are not it. So there's one thing I also do very firmly believe in, that there is no such thing as easy money. One more time for the people in the back. There's no such thing as easy money. So if something seems a little bit too good to be true, then it probably is. And that's what I think about multi-level marketing schemes. Now, the reason I think it's really important to talk about it now is that unfortunately during lockdown, a lot of people have lost their jobs, they're particularly vulnerable, and multi-level marketing schemes are preying on people's vulnerabilities. So if you need a way to make money, this is probably not going to be the best option for you. For anyone who's not clear on what a multi-level marketing scheme is, it's a marketing strategy and business model where sellers not only sell a product, but also recruit other people to sell that product for them, and then they make a commission off the sales of the people who are in their down line. It's also called pyramid selling. Now, if that sounds pretty familiar, like a pyramid scheme, you might ask, wait, aren't pyramid schemes illegal? And yes, you'd be absolutely right. Pyramid schemes are illegal. But multi-level marketing schemes get around the illegality by selling a product rather than just making money through recruiting people. So if you were just recruiting people, that would be illegal and making money off their membership joining fee. But if you were selling products and then the people who you recruited are also selling products, then it's all dandy. You've most likely seen some of the brands before. Some common brands include Avon or Herbalife, Arbonne. So if it's all legal and that's fine, then what's the problem and why am I saying people shouldn't join a multi-level marketing scheme? Well, reason number one, 99% of people who join a multi-level marketing scheme lose money from joining. 99% of people, and I'm not saying that you can't be the 1%, and I'll get into some of the scenarios where this might be an okay idea, but if you know that you only have a 1% chance of making it work, is it really what you should be picking up or investing your money in when you need to pay your bills? Probably not. Reason number two, multi-level marketing is an unsustainable business model. And while they might claim that the real money actually comes from the sale of products, the big bucks will come from recruiting people who will be in your down line. Now, this is simply the maths of it. Let's say that you have to recruit 4 people within your team to start earning the next upper band of commission. Well, every one of those 4 people then has to recruit another 4 people and so on and so on and so on. So by the time that you get to the 17th round, assuming it's just 4 people that you have to recruit, the number of total people that would need to be recruited is more than the entire world's population. So this is obviously not going to work at many layers, and that's why you see that the people at the very top are the only ones who ever really make any money. Reason number 3 are the fact that they employ extremely pushy sales tactics. And some people might love sales, but if sales is not your thing, you're really not going to enjoy doing this job. I also think if you really require such dirty selling tactics, then how good is your product, really? The fourth and most important reason I don't think this should be your next side hustle is the promise that it's going to be easy. So they'll promote the people at the top who have bought shiny cars and have made a living through selling these products, but don't be fooled, this was definitely not easy to do. In fact, the targets in order to be able to start making your own money are so high that you often feel isolated because you've been pushing your friends and family and every single person you know, every social interaction, you need to think of as an opportunity to get to know the people and who they know and who you could eventually sell to. So particularly now when people are more vulnerable, more lonely, more in need of money, this is the worst time to be pushing people to buy products that they don't actually need. And sure, you'll get to be your own boss, but that also means you have no guaranteed income. So you could put in a lot of work and get absolutely nothing back. So you're taking on board all of the risk, and typically to get started, you have to buy a starter pack, which involves spending between £200 to £500 to get the original kit of product that you'll eventually be selling. And often people feel so embarrassed, or they feel that it's their fault, and they don't actually think about it's the business model that is failing them. It's not their lack of ability to sell. So it can make you feel a lot more isolated, and you're told that you just need to work harder and it's something that you're doing. So that encourages sellers to become more and more pushy and eventually just become much more isolated and not get anything out of it. Of course, you could just make money by being a TikTok star. 10-second dance break.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Now, I'm sure I'm not alone in this, and a lot of people have received a message or watched one of the presentations that people have pitched the next great business idea to. So let me share with you the story of when my friends gave me a call. So these are two friends that I had from school, haven't spoken to in a couple of years, but two 30-year-old dudes who had just embarked on this new venture. So out of courtesy, I watched their 20-minute presentation, and they were selling me skincare. And I can guarantee you neither of the two of them has ever thought about skincare in their life prior to this venture. And they were also trying to sell me anti-aging and like vitamins to help me sleep. And after the call, I just said, guys, I'm not interested. This is not for me. But if you're going to do this, you need to get your sales much better. So if you're selling any product or any service, here are the golden rules of selling. Don't assume my problem. If you're selling someone something that they don't need and doesn't resonate in their head or doesn't remind them or help them feel something about a problem that they have, you have no chance of getting them to buy from you. So I'm 26. I've never thought about anti-aging. I think sunscreen is probably the only thing that's going to actually help with that. So no, I don't need any anti-wrinkle cream or anti-aging cream. I also sleep like a log. I can do 13 hours, no problem. So I don't have trouble sleeping. So pitching me vitamins that are going to help me sleep is not going to get you very far. So don't assume people's problems. Try to find out what is the problem that the person that you're talking to has. Rule number 2, know your product or service. So these guys actually admitted to me during the call, oh, I didn't know what this kind of cream was before I started. That's not really instilling a lot of faith in me. So I want the person who is telling me about something to be a strategic consultant. I want them to know, and I want them to be able to answer my questions. So let's say I had a question about a chemical that was in one of their creams. I don't feel any confidence that they're going to know how to answer my questions. So if you're selling anything, know your product and service, and don't admit to your customers that you don't believe in it or that you never would have used it before. Rule number 3, do more listening than you're doing talking. And we all have this image of this swanky car salesman that is just giving you the pitch and you can't get a word in, and that's going to convince you to just close the deal and buy. It doesn't work like that. People like to feel that they have control over the decisions. So what you really have to do is ask good questions. Try and understand what are the issues that they're facing, what are they trying to solve, and only after you've fully understood that can you come in with a good recommendation of how your product and service might be able to help. Rule of selling number 4, show, don't tell. So you can always show people certain statistics or tell people that it's going to absolutely change their lives, but you'll have much better results if you actually show them how it's changed other people's lives. So case studies are really your friends here. If you have examples of how your product or service can be used to make something better. In the case of skin products, we used to get this down at the market where you'd get just people buffing the nails with, I think it was some kind of Black Sea something. So yeah, you'd buff the nails and then they would feel really smooth just with this buffer. So they would do that at the market and buff the nail. But if you're doing that on Zoom, it's like watching a magic trick on Zoom. I'm like, how do I know that you're not just lying to me about your fingernail feeling really smooth? So if you can't actually show, don't bother. Just leave that out. Now, unfortunately for you watching at home, not all multi-level marketing salespeople are such newbies. So a lot of them are expert salespeople and have given this a lot of thought and a lot of practice. And not only that, they develop entire training programs on how you can handle objections. And I encourage you to do this. Just look up Arbonne objection handling. And they've outlined presentations of anything that the person that you're trying to sell to says, whether it's that they don't have enough money or they don't have enough time or they're not interested. They have an answer to every single thing. So sometimes just engaging in that conversation is not worth it. But a lot of them are very, very persuasive salespeople. And if you've ever tried to get rid of one, you'll know how difficult that is. One of my favorites from a top Arbonne salesperson, so she has a website and how she recommends handling objections. And she states that as sellers, we need to get past the gatekeeper, which is the human mind. And I'm sitting there going, you want people to bypass their own mind? You actually want them to not think logically about what they're committing to? Like, how can you possibly say that? Like, that you just want people to ignore what good common sense is telling them. So I would be very, very weary of any sales tactics like that. You don't want to bypass people's minds. My advice would be, if you can, just ignore, because they have been trained to handle every single objection, anything you could give them. Just don't get in touch. And that can be awkward if it's someone that you're close to, but just remember they're introducing the awkwardness. So it's not up to you to fix it. And you can still support what they do from afar, but I would recommend looking for something else. If you're considering becoming a seller, I strongly encourage you to just do a Google search of people whose lives have been completely turned upside down by multi-level marketing schemes, the turmoil and the isolation that they felt after it. And you do have other alternatives. Like, you can start your own business. I'm not saying that anyone shouldn't. And there may be situations where this could potentially work for you, but there's only a very limited number of cases. So I have looked at the other side of this, and generally I would say, unless you have a massive existing audience who are not your closest friends and family, because you don't want to ruin those relationships by constantly pressuring people. If you have a large network who you could sell to, and you're motivated by building up a network around that, then potentially this could work for you. So people with adjacent businesses. So if you're selling hair products and you're a hairdresser yourself, so you know that you'll regularly come into contact with clients who might want to buy your shampoo that you're selling, then that could work really well for you, and that could actually work out. The only other case I would say is if you love the product so much and you know that you get a discount by being part of this scheme, that you don't care if you lose a little bit of money, then that's also fine. But don't expect it to be the next thing that's going to make you really easy money. Make no mistake, this is not an easy way to make money, and it's definitely not guaranteed, just like any other business. If you're looking for a flexible side hustle that you can do from home, then check out my video on 5 side hustles which you can try out. I can guarantee you will not be making 6 figures just working from home, and it definitely won't be easy. You'll have to put in some of the time, but it is a guaranteed way that you can increase your income during these times. And I'd love to hear from you guys. What are your experiences with multi-level marketing schemes? Have you been approached to join part of one? How have you dealt with them, and what's your experience been? Pop it down in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like and subscribe and hit the bell to make sure that you get access to new videos every Friday. Thanks so much for watching.